Heated U.S. Canada women's Olympic hockey rivalry set to resume. Beijing. The last thing Cammi Granato and her U.S. women's hockey teammates needed to see after a 10-hour bus ride through the Maritimes was arriving at their hotel and finding the Canadians staying at the same place. It was bad enough the two heated rivals had to confront each other on ice. In those early days, the late 1990s and 2000s, of what's developed into one of the world's fiercest rivalries, the two sides were ready to drop their gloves when and wherever. We'd have like a 4-game tour through, say, Nova Scotia, and you're on the bus and get to the hotel, same hotel as Canada, and we just played them the night before, Granato recalled. The elevator door opens, and there's 5 Canadians in it, and they're looking at you like you're not getting on this elevator. And if you do, you're not going to be very happy. Granato, the first woman inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame and captain of the first women's team to win a hockey gold medal at the 1998 Nagano Olympics, laughs at the memory now. And yet, hate is not too strong of a word to describe the steam-hot grudge the two teams had developed for each other. It was real. It was a real hate, Granato said. That's the team that is always standing in your way of what you want. Gold has always been the goal, with the next chapter of U.S. versus Canada beginning late Monday when they meet in a group a preliminary round game. At the Beijing Olympics, the Americans enter the tournament as defending champions after ending Canada's 4 Olympic championship run in dramatic flourish, with a 3-2 shootout win in 2018. Monique Lamoureux-Morando scored to tie the game with 6:21 left in regulation, before her twin sister Jocelyn Lamoureux-Davidson sealed it in the shootout. Canada, naturally, exacted a sliver of revenge in August by ending the Americans' 5-tournament run of World Championship titles on Marie-Philip Paulin's goal in a 3-2 overtime win. Now the Americans prepare to gather at Wuxong Sports Center for what is highly anticipated to be the first of 2 meetings between the global powers, with a rematch expected in the gold medal game next week. 4-time U.S. Olympian Hilary Knight was already deflecting questions about the matchup between a 5-0 win over the Russian team on Saturday night and an 8-0 win over Switzerland on Sunday. Canada, which faced the Russians late on Monday, followed a 12-1 tournament opening win over Switzerland with an 11-1 win over Finland. The specter of the showdown, however, has loomed since the teams opened their pre-Olympic rivalry series at Allentown, Pennsylvania, in October. Yeah! You know what the best part is? U.S. captain Kendall Coyne Schofield said following a series opening 3-1 loss, "We have them 8 more times." The 9-game series was cut to 6 games following a COVID-19 breakout hitting the Canadians. Canada finished with a 4-1 edge, with 4 games decided by 1 goal, including 3 in overtime. Canada coach Troy Ryan was cautious in taking anything away from the result. "If you look at the history of these events and look at the history of results at the Olympics, there's no positive correlation often," he said. "All Ryan expects is the game to be close. Every time I think or hear of Canada against US, I think 3-2. So many games end up in 3-2 scores," he said. "You associate it with one of the best rivalries in all of sport. For all the lore associated with Red Sox Yankees, Lakers Celtics, Michigan Ohio State, each rivalry has endured cyclical ups and downs. What separates U.S. Canada in women's hockey is how even the two sides have been for so long. Canada has the Olympic edge with a 5-3 record and winning 4 golds to America's 2. At the World Championships, the teams are 15-15 with Canada having won 11 titles to the U.S. 9. In all-time meetings dating to 1990, as compiled by Hockey Canada, the Canadians have won 71 games in regulation, 20 in overtime/shootout, lost 53 in regulation and 17 in overtime/shootout, and tied 1. The key is how both teams have pushed each other to be better to the point the two nations essentially dominate every tournament. It's something that we've all been a part of that have played on those teams, and it just doesn't go away." Former Canadian star Jana Hefford said, "It's the games you want to play, and it's the team you think about as you're training because you want to play against the best. Those are the games you dream of." To Granato, beating a lesser opponent by 10 goals is not as enjoyable as compared to entering a game not knowing the outcome. "The best games were the 2-1 shootouts even if you won or lost," Granato said. "The reason you play the game is to try and win. You don't want to know the results before you step on the ice." What's changed over the years is a thawing of off-ice relations, with players on both sides of the border now working together to grow the sport as members of the Professional Women's Hockey Players Association. "I don't think you'll hear too many stories like that anymore since the players do interact so much more off the ice together," said Monique Lamoureux-Morando, referring to Granato's elevator story. "Instead of the word hate, I would say passionate." And yet, she will never forget her welcome to the rivalry moment during a pre-2010 Olympics exhibition game in Victoria, British Columbia. "We lost the game. I think it was 3-1 and there were seconds left when I remember Hayley Wickenheiser nailed Natalie Darwitz," said Lamoureux-Morando, who has since retired and made her TV broadcasting debut as an NBC hockey analyst this weekend. "It was offside, and she hit her right after the whistle or during the whistle, depending on who you talk to," she said. "I was on the ice and mayhem ensued." Copyright 2022 The Washington Times, LLC. Please read our comment policy before commenting.